You guys might remember the shop. Are we gonna go into door number 2 or are we gonna go into door number 1? Camera guy says he wants to see what's behind door number 2. So let's take you over here and you guys can meet Bobby, who is our new welder fabricator and came to us with quite a bit of experience. He came to us from another fence company. He's a really solid aluminum welder, and so hopefully we'll get some projects that put his skills on showcase, but we'll see what he's got going on in here right now. Hey Bobby.
Yes, sir.
Don't say anything stupid, you're on camera.
Oh, that's all right.
Bobby, he's TikTok. So in case you watch TikTok, Wizard Welder, right?
Yep,
Wizard Welder on TikTok. So if you want to see some of the stuff he's done, but he's bringing us all of his skills. He's been working on making some of our processes more efficient here in the shop. So what he's doing now is building a cutoff table so that we've got a way to process material, cut pipe, until we can get a Collins cutter, which will be one of the things we're looking for. You've probably never even seen a Collins cutter, have you?
No, I haven't.
Well, we'll introduce you, and then you'll get to build a whole new setup.
Awesome.
He's working on fabricating up this table right now for our chop saw, just standard chop saw, and that'll go over here against the wall. We'll have a nice cutting space to cut our pipe and do all of the cutting and processing of all of our material, which you can see here on the floor. You're square. So just using some of the stuff and making our processes better. In fact, we built our very first chain link style gate the other day, only we didn't even put chain link on it, we put vinyl on it. So you can see we've got all the lumber. This is where we store all of our wood inside. We may change that as time goes on. We do have the big skid steer. Does all of our super heavy lifting on the job site should we need it. And we've built these cradles, you'll see these laying on the floor. These are going to get casters, and once we put these casters, we can put a bundle of pipe in this cradle and then roll it into the shop. 650 pounds a piece, so they'll get welded on here and help transporting material in the shop easier. Right now, as you'll notice, we only have about a 10-foot door, 12-foot door maybe, and it's just not good for getting 24-foot bundles of pipe in the door. So we need to bring it in this way, and that's what we've come up with, is these cradles for moving our material in and out of the shop. Let's go back here and see what kind of surprises lay out here. So we've basically taken over the outside. Both of those gooseneck trailers are ours. Well, let's go look at the newest addition, this Max D gooseneck. One of the first things you'll notice is that we have hydraulic jacks. I was so sick and tired of cranking trailers up and down, and especially when you get them loaded, I wanted hydraulic jacks. So we've got the hydraulic jacks, we've got 32 feet. The deck here, the beaver tail is 12 foot, so we've got 20 feet of straight deck and then another 12 feet of beaver tail. And the cool thing about that is hydraulic as well. So I'm really excited about that. Like, the hydraulic jacks is the coolest thing, not having to lift ramps up and down. We could almost put our entire skid steer on the tail of this thing and lift it up, which is pretty amazing. We bought this trailer because I was so impressed with the dump trailer that you guys have already seen with the fold down sides. Other features this trailer has, hydraulic disc brakes. So it's electric over hydraulic instead of just being electric brakes. The more you load it, the better this thing performs. My brother's been using it to haul hay already. We've bought, I think, 8 of them. Seven. No, we bought 8. Yeah, so we bought 8. We brought 1 out here and we have 7 in Wyoming. But anyhow, electric over hydraulic disc brakes is amazing. They're just built like a tank, and hopefully they'll serve us a lot longer. We were only getting maybe 2 to 3 years before a trailer starts feeling a little bit worn out, and we're hoping these last us a little bit better, especially with these 16-ply tires. They're built to work every day. Added feature, you can order nice lockable chain rack, and then always a toolbox up front, spare tire up here. So we've been stocking up on all of our stuff. We've got Postmasters, some black chain link, things that are really common movers, temp fence for construction sites, and this is where we have all of our attachments down this way. We've got auger drives for the big machines. We've got 2 of those. We picked that up only because it was a good deal. May end up selling it, I don't know, or we'll grow into it. And then some of these are for our MT85, our smaller machines. So like the trencher, the bucket, the small forks, all these are more for our smaller machines. But we've got a pretty good arsenal of equipment to use. Not much of it's gone out yet. Most of our stuff's been residential, so most of this stuff's designed for larger commercial projects rather than the small residentials we have been working on. So we did have an electrician come in, and when they wired that building, they put in 5 220 outlets down there. They ran us a 220 outlet here for our router, and then gave us 2 more 220 outlets on that wall. So we've got plenty of 220 electricity here in this shop now. We got all of our shelves here where we've started stocking up with the things that we use a lot. We've got paint, marking paint, plastic bags for covering our concrete when we're out on the job site, shrink wrap, signs, nails, screws, you name it, we got it. More chain link stuff, gate hardware and vinyl stuff. But I bought all this on the first chain link job we did, and so that just went into inventory. And then we have some black stuff for the black residential, which I haven't done a single black residential job yet. Most everything we've done has been wood, vinyl, and aluminum. And then we've started amassing quite a lot of tools as well. We use the chop saw and the table saw for doing wood and vinyl. I like to rip pickets and cut rails on these two versus using skill saws, which I know is very popular, but it's just my preference, and I personally think it's faster and cleaner. I get nice straight cuts, which I like. So if you're wondering if the Harbor Freight jackhammer is worth it, we ran into a project down in Holly Hill, which is by Daytona, and we couldn't get the postmasters driven because there was a layer foot, 8 inches, something like that, a layer of like old seabed, real hard seabed, so kind of like a real hard sandstone, maybe a little bit harder than sandstone. We ran that down in there and then drove the post right through it, and it was no problem. So one of the things that I've struggled with when we started is being able to balance my time between the field people and the office, and I needed to be in the office, and it was Tyler's very first day. Austin had been here a while, and I thought, you know what, I'll give him a drawing. And so I sketched out this vinyl gate building table and said, you know what, if you guys can get this built, it'll show me where your skill level is, and gave him some pretty good instruction with dimension, and came back, and what you see before you today is not at all what I came back to. It was a mess, to say the least. So I learned that I need to coach my team through things a little bit better, and that showed me where their skill level was for being able to take a drawing and build something. And we went back and kind of tore everything apart and redid it, wasted some material, and this is what we've got. It is not perfect. It is not the work that I would have done, but I spent a lot of time in woodworking. But at the end of it, they got to see and feel and work with tools, neither which do I feel like they had a lot of experience with before. So after we built this, we built that, which is basically the cutoff table that you'll see over here. And my son actually helped. It turned out better, but there's still things. We built this faster. I believe that took us an entire day when it came down to it. 2 guys an entire day, and honestly, that's anybody that's done any kind of carpentry or anything knows that that's probably a little excessive. This went much faster. We still had some imperfections, but they learned from that project to this project, and that's kind of what it's about for me. Is we're at the stage where I need to coach everybody, and I need to walk them through every step of the process. I can't take them for granted and just assume, like my team in Wyoming, that they know what's going on. I really have to be there for them, and I really have to walk them through it. But once we walk them through it once, hopefully it's sticking, and we're seeing some results with them learning the process of how to build fence. I can see it in Austin every day. He kind of knows what tools to grab when we get out of the truck, depending on what we're doing. He's trying to think ahead. And Tyler's got some experience today when we were core drilling. He knew what to do with a core drill, and he could take off. So we're starting to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't feel like I have to be there quite as much as I did in the very beginning when we got the table that we had to tear apart and start all over again. So we kind of had every person that we bring on, Larry being one of them. Today's job was a prime example of that with the retaining wall. He didn't think to step back and show me the wall underneath the pavers, so I got a bunch of photos that made it look like it was just a flat paver patio, and I couldn't tell from the photos. So now he knows, and it's just one of those things that we kind of have to learn together on, so that he knows what he needs to look for and what I need to be able to make sure that we don't run into problems. But Those are just some of the stumbling blocks we've had. And now you're probably wondering, what's the money look like? Well, let's talk about the money. So as of this year, we've done $78,800 in revenue with gross profit of $24,166 for 30% gross profit, which is pretty low, honestly. We're gonna have to try and figure that one out. We've had a lot of advertising, $18,000 worth of advertising, $700, $18,700 in advertising, payroll expenses, $22,000. For total expense of $91,452, which brings us to a net loss of $36,739 for the year. You're probably wondering about all the assets and everything, and if you are, good for you. We'll get you answers on that. This is a little bit confusing because right now SWI Wyoming owns some of it, such as this truck, and then we lease that from SWI Wyoming. We're working on trying to get all of those assets into this company, but that's going to take a bank to do so. Currently, we are sitting on inventory assets of $118,000, construction equipment $221,000, total assets $380,000. So we actually have negative equity at the moment. And there has been no member draws. I take no salary and won't take salary until we're profitable. So this is very much about growing the business and becoming profitable. We aren't going to start out profitable, whereas a lot of you are trying to stay profitable because you need to take a salary. I don't, and so we're being more aggressive, and that's how we're going to get to our $3 million goal. But we've got a long ways to go, only having done just under $100,000 this year in 3 months. So if we're going to even hit $1 million this year, we got to step up our game. So stay tuned, see if we get it done. That's where we're at today in Florida, and until next time, you have a good dang day.